and my car exploded except for my car, which is lucky because that's the car they loaded all the cops into.
Oh
Anyway,
my God.
they all left the scene. Ambulance come, treated us. In between all this, another 2 officers got on duty, one being Pepe and the other one being Victor. They come up to the scene. Victor decided to escort us to CMC. Pepe stayed back to get evidence. We got halfway back to CMC, 13 Alpha goes off. They come back yet again, shot Pepe down. And when I got up out of hospital or whatever, I said, well, anything I can go back for is my car. I'm not going to go back there. So Victor went back with EMS and got Pepe. Victor started documenting the scene. We went back, got our cars. He managed to finish documenting the scene without getting shot or anything like that. There was tweets went out. Hope you enjoy the rest of your shift 3. I don't know. It's all in the report anyway. You can see if you wanted to look at it. I was pretty annoyed with the fact that, like, I get it. People are going to get upset and we get shot. It's a shift 3 thing. It happens when something happens in another shift. We cop the brunt of it generally over the next few days. You know, it's been like that for years and years.
Right.
Do I agree with it? No. But it's something that you just get used to and you're like, okay, it's not that bad. But the thing that really pissed me off is the fact that they'd leave and then 5 minutes later they'd come back, they'd do something else and they leave you sitting there bleeding out in a car while they go and get gas cans and all this sort of stuff. And then after all that, we get medical and then they go back and shoot the last person that is trying to collect evidence. You know, I think that's, at that point, it's, I don't know, it's a little too much. But either way, when I spoke to King, he got on duty. I said, I'm not real happy because this happened. I want to see whether shift 1 and shift 2 can show the same energy that they showed us this morning when there was only 5 of us on duty.
Right.
Because there's no way in the world they would do that in shift 1 or shift 2 because there'd be 30 cops on duty and they would get absolutely annihilated. That is all I said on the matter. So fast forward now, I get a call from King. He says, I've got Miller looking into him. He's TRT. He's going to lead an investigation on blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, cool. That sounds good. Fast forward another half an hour, I get another call from King and he says, you wouldn't believe it, but Miller's already found what he believes to be their clean person. They have like 6 or 7 properties in their name. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. It's going well. Anyway, Miller ended up finding out that there was like a bunch, like 4 or 5 of them or something that had multiple things where they'd been caught with class 2s over the past 3-4 weeks or whatever. He did up search warrants for to lock their properties down. I knew nothing about that until after the fact of it was being done. Anyway,
when you say after the fact, as in like once it had already been executed?
After they'd locked the properties down and done up the search warrants. Like I knew the search warrants were there or whatever because I'd seen them. I said to myself, I don't really agree with the whole finding people with weapons and raiding them. I never have. I've been very vocal about it in the past. A couple of times that Remy and that have done it because I think it's a lazy way of raiding someone. I'd rather see people actually investigate and get them going in and out of the property with guns or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's not my deal. It had nothing to do with me. It's their thing, you know? Anyway, there was issues with the warrants or something, and it took like 3 days to get them signed. One of the judges had said, you just need to do this and articulate this, and then they'll be good to go. Another judge looked at them and said, no, there's no way I'm signing any of them. And they signed the only person that wasn't involved in the original thing, which was Finlay, which led to all that bullshit with the raids and stuff. I then come around the next day to find out that they have been raided. And it was due to the fact that I walked in and Maxwell was there. She asked me, she said, did you say anything to spark the raids off for ADMC to Miller? I said, no, I never said a word. And she said, well, Brian Knight is saying that Miller went to him and said that Davenport went to him and said, you need to find any reason you can to fucking raid these people with ADMC because I'm annoyed for being shot down. And said that I'm a dog shit officer with dog shit police work and it was a malicious fucking raid and I don't know why we're doing malicious raids. The guy shouldn't have a fucking job, this, that, and the other. I never said any of that. It was King that organised Miller to look into it. and then it went from there. I had nothing to do with that whatsoever. However,
Right.
he'd been telling everyone that I was fucking a dog shit cop, calling Miller a dog shit cop, and this, that, and the other, because Miller reached out because Brian's done a lot of raids, right? He reached out to him to get advice from him to see whether he thinks he's going down the right path or not. And then it turned into this. So I ended up having a meeting with all of High Command. It was Peter's there, Turner was there, Maxwell was there, or whatever. They asked me, and I said, no, I never said any of that at all. I never spoke to Miller until after the fact of King ringing me like an hour after and saying that Miller was looking into it. I said the only thing I spoke to Miller about was the fact that I hadn't had a chance to put my statement in yet. So I put my statement in, which explained everything that happened so that they had something to go off, like of my point of view, where we were getting loaded into cars and basically tried to be blown up and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he went around telling everyone that
you were the one.
I was the one, and I'm dog shit cops, and we shouldn't have jobs, and which kind of annoys me because I always try to do fair by everyone. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's benefit of the doubt, right? Unlike unless the person who's being accused is saying something themselves that is so stupid, like I do think an overwhelming majority of the police department deserves the benefit of the doubt. It's why when man, it's why I sort of harped on like when he was here explaining after the meeting, like I feel like I kept asking like you're certain it was like with malice? And the reason is because if Miller, for example, didn't know, right? Like we're told that Finn explained this to Miller, right? But we're being told by a third party. Not being told by Finn, we're being told by Shang that Finn said something. And so I sit there and question, like, these are people who are willing to shoot us. What makes us think that they won't lie to us? To try to paint a worse image than there actually is. Which is why I do think Miller deserves the benefit of the doubt, especially because when Opal was here, Opal was explaining, like, no, not with malice. Like, she's straight up clarified. But, like...
Yeah, I didn't like the argument with that because I don't like those type of arguments where... I mean, they just use the sledgehammer to push the car out of the way to look underneath it,
Yeah.
That type of argument to me is you're wasting your time. If it is going to court over it because the things have been forwarded, and I don't know. I've seen a picture of what the cars look like now, and if one hit of a sledgehammer did that, well, fuck me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that whatever was under that tarp may have already been damaged.
Yes.
Now, if this was
on sledgehammer, it's not going to do that much damage.
If these things were under, you know what, Davenport? Holy fuck, you're a genius. Let's just start taking the sledgehammer to cars when they're boxed.
Oh, beautiful!
They'll never be operational.
They'll rust out. All the doors will feel off them. They'll have no wheels on them.
Oh my god, genius!
We left there with just a rusty old shell.
Holy fuck, where are all of the damn furores? Oh my gosh.
You got them.
But in all seriousness, I was not necessarily in agree. There are certain aspects of what Brian brought up, not specifically here, but like there was mention of the raid warrant, like pulling examples from like the past 30 days. I don't necessarily call it lazy, but that would never meet my threshold. For me, it has to be in like close proximity. I would say ideal scenario, like multiple instances. And when I say multiple, like not like one or two, but like over the course of a week stretch, maybe 2 weeks. But like with a good amount of guns being found under, but I would never push 30, even though 30 is statute. Like 30 complicates things in my mind because it allows there to be like too many gaps in between where like I don't know, let's say 28 days ago, someone was found with 2 guns, one on one day, one on the other.
Yeah.
Fucking 20 something days go by, and they're now in a gang war, and it's like, all right, well, within statute of limitations, it was all these guns plus the 2 from 4 weeks ago that are just about to be outside of statute. I just, for me,
Yeah.
that doesn't establish enough of a pattern, because if that pattern was broke sort of anywhere in between or they weren't caught, it's harder to justify that to judges, in my opinion.
100%. Now, I think the world that we live in its current state, that is nothing. Considering every single thing you respond to, everyone has. Well, it's not so bad these days as it was like a month ago, but even still, you still
You're
go
not
to
wrong,
90% of
Snow.
people jobs or responses
Roads
you go
wouldn't
to,
push
people
it,
have got
though.
class twos. So it's like there is a lot of guns out there on the streets. If this was
Honestly, it
something that
truly
had
does come
taken
down to just
place
proximity,
12
like
or 18
time
months ago,
proximity to the
100%,
situations.
because guns weren't as fluent as they are today.
Now everyone's got
So
fucking class 2s left, right, and center.
yeah,
Well, actually, I say that, but the other day we did run into people with primarily class 1s. Actually, separate to that, not just class 1s, it was a holdout with primarily class 1s and like small class 2s. It
yeah.
was Bestie, I think, yeah, Bestie's airport holdout.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, that's been a long time since that's happened. But even so, I mean, people still had guns, so it doesn't matter whether it's a class 2,
Right,
whether it's a class 1, or whatever. Guns gun at the end of the day, and they can still be, because you can still gather the same conclusion regardless of what class of the gun is.
right.
There's still guns on the streets, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think if someone's found with like 4 or 5 guns over the course of a month is kind of, it's a lot, I guess, but it's nothing really in reality of it all. Because you look at these gang wars that you go to, you can respond to the same group shooting each other 5 times within one shift, and they would have had guns every time because they're GSR positive, just because they don't
Right.
have them on them or whatever. So that's at least 5 guns in one fucking day, you know.
Yep. And
So
if by
the fact
some
of 5 guns
chance,
over 30 days is nothing.
if by some chance the person who robbed the other person gets caught, like they could be in possession of 4 guns. Because sometimes I see class 1s
Yeah.
and class 2s on individuals. So it's like,
Yep.
at that point, they are racking up the amount of firearms found in a single day.
Yep.
I'd be curious to know, like, I think gang relateds are kind of a prime example of, like, in my opinion, what is prime opportunity to have these, like, these situations in which warrants are written based upon sort of the frequency of
Yeah.
firearms. Because if we document a situation, and we probably need to get better at this, because oftentimes we release people but we don't write stuff down, especially if they're robbed. But like, if we know yesterday Hydra's in a gang related shooting with Manor, right, and today we roll up and Hydra was shot down, right, we know it's Manor, we saw them leave, we search them, they got nothing, we throw that in a report. 30 fucking minutes later, one of them's down and they're found with a firearm. Like, at that point, you have to start pinpointing over the past 30 fucking minutes from the last time they were in the hospital until now, where the fuck did they go?
Yeah.
And while, I mean, listen, I understand we don't have all the time in the fucking world to look into all of these things, but like, I'm gonna be real. Remember when I used to doink people up at the prison? I
Yeah,
actually think that would be a crazy investigative tool right now. Just seeing where people go right out of prison. Because if you don't
100%.
think it's to immediately re-up, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, 100%. That's the sort of shit that should be done. If you literally want to go after someone, and you're, I wouldn't say that you're looking for reasons to raid them, but if you're investigating a certain group or something, that would be the thing to do. Even if they get
Yep.
caught with know what I mean? You get sometimes where they'll do something simple as a laundromat or a cash exchange or even a bank truck or whatever, and they all lose their guns and stuff. When they come out of jail, that's a prime example of when you should be trying to, tail them and see where they go and what they do, and then if they end up having guns on them again.
Hey, quick question. Do you
Yeah.
know if when Miller locked the properties down, he locked down the garages?
That I don't know. I did tell him at the time that you may not be able to lock the garages down because we had the issue with KJ.
Yeah. Because in conversation with Shang, he was sort of giving hypotheticals. And Shang mentioned he forgot to lock down his garages, and I thought to myself,
Well, Miller actually watched him clean them all out, clean all the cars out.
What?
He went and spoke to him the
Huh?
day that he locked the properties down. He was doing some undercover thing in Little Seoul or near the apartments, and they were at the apartments emptying all the trunks of their vehicles out.
I'm questioning if he did lock them. Did he? Wait. I haven't even seen the search warrant. Did he go for vehicles as well, or just properties?
Yes, he did.
Hmm.
He had a list because Shang had like 30 odd cars or 40 cars or something. I wouldn't even
Then
know where to look for the search
there's
warrant for,
no
but-
shot he wouldn't have locked down the garages.
But I think you've got to go to each and every garage, and I don't know how you would even find out where pit vehicles are parked. I don't think there is a way to find that out, is there? Unless you speak to the person that.
I
they
don't
say-
know, truthfully.
I know back in the day you used to be able to go to the courthouse and it would show you everywhere where
Yeah.
things were locked down. But
Yeah, now I don't know. Hold up. Brings up a good point. Genuinely, I have no idea.
there's no way at the courthouse where you can look that up to see where they're parked. There's no way in the MDT. There's no way.
No.
Even the courthouse MDT, it doesn't show. It'll tell you what properties people own, but that's it. If they're parked in public car parks, there's no way to know where they are.
You're right. I mean, before it was similar-ish until we did get sort of a printout at the courthouse regarding where it was, but we would sort of do the rounds to all the public garages. But like, what if it's just a personally owned property owned by a friend? Like,
Yeah.
damn. Yeah, that's rough. That's a
There's
rough
literally
one.
no way to know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't executed a search warrant, so I couldn't tell you. Never locked anything
Well, I know
down.
when
So
we did, the only thing I've ever done is the KJ one, but I didn't need to know where it was parked because we literally
you
watched
saw
pull it
him,
out,
yeah. Yep.
do the stuff and park it again.
100%.
So,
Did you see the changes,
Yeah.
by the way, regarding that? I guess we no longer hand it back.
yes, because I questioned that. I questioned that to the SAMA people when I handed the thing over. I said, surely there's got to be something that we can do where I don't have to give back this stuff, because you don't have to be like a scientist to work out that meth is going to be illegal. Like, if you can't carry a couple extra joints on you, what in the world would you think that you could carry around bags of meth? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and I even copped a few side eye comments from handing back the meth to him, but Tona was there. I had no option but to give it back.
Yeah, it
It's not
wouldn't have
illegal at
been
that
as
point.
bad, Davenport, if the first person or the first time we had encountered it, it was someone peddling small amounts, not fucking manufacturing or being in such
Yes.
high quantities. Like, that was such a double-edged sword, because there's practically no consequence to it, but like also now there is, and the only way that there is now is because we ran into that. It
Yeah.
sucks, but it's kind of just one of those,
Yeah.
it is
And
what
then
it is.
when I handed it back to KG, he said, when this becomes illegal, are you going to come and raid me? And I said, no, that would not be ideal for me to do that. Why would I give you something back and then wait for it to be illegal and then raid you again? That would be bad faith. I said, I would suggest that you just don't have them anymore. Get rid of them.
Yep. I mean, I would have just told him, like, just make sure you aren't in possession of any of this if and when it does become illegal. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
As of right now, not much I can do. I did my due diligence. I'm instructed and forced essentially to do it a certain way. Not much can change regarding that.
Yep. Yeah, because he said, well, actually, when he come in, he did that, and I said, well, I do have your charges and that here. I can, if you want to, I can just like charge you with everything and send you off or whatever. And he said, well, let me drop this stuff off first. And he said, am I going to get in trouble if I drop it back into the same vehicle where you got it from? I said, I can't tell you where you can and can't put it, but I would advise you just to get rid of it and not have it in your, basically in your possession. So then he said, because you could raid me if it's illegal, right? And I said, I could, but I more than likely won't. Because unless I actually know that where you put it, there's no reason to raid you.
Not unless
you could just walk outside and put it in a dumpster. I wouldn't know where it went from when you left the door.
Not unless he is like openly admitting to it after it's illegal and like claiming he's in possession of it, and only then would that even be a consideration in my mind.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even be able to articulate a search warrant. And
yeah, 100%. He was in possession of it 20 days ago.
Yes.
Meanwhile, 20 days have elapsed and countless things could have happened.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of upset with, I'm not really upset, just kind of just pissed off, really, I guess you'd say, with the fact that Brian was like that. I've never had anything to do with Brian for the longest time. And like I was asked last time, when was the last time I'd spoken to Brian? And I was 100% honest. It was when he had just taken over the new DPD years and years and years ago.
Yep.
And he asked if I would be interested in being the assistant chief of police.
That's a long time ago. Holy fuck.
And I said, other than that, I haven't spoken a word to him since then. So, because I literally haven't seen him until like recently. So.
Yeah. The only thing I
just don't think we should be talking about our fellow officers like that when you don't have the full story.
Yeah, I agree.
Listening to criminals. Another thing he brought up too is we should be letting them know that we're going to lock their properties down. So that makes zero sense to me. Why would you contact them and say, hey, just letting you know we'll be there in 30 minutes to lock all your properties down, we're raiding shit? That just gives them time to clear everything out. Isn't the whole point of a raid is to
catch them off guard, essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, if we have the person in custody, it mostly a not mostly a non-issue, but like, hey, listen, you can work with us, or we can write a search. Like, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I wouldn't be preemptively calling people 30 minutes in advance, like, oh, hey, we're gonna go lock down a property. It very much so be, we're locking down the property. And then informing them afterwards, that's fine. Once we cover our bases, there's no issue. Like, they're going to find out anyways. It might as well be from us. And everyone knows what a fucking lockdown property means.
Yeah.
There isn't any confusion.
Yep.
Oh. I do have to go, though. I don't want to cut this short.
I just want to let you know anyway, just because I had said in the thing that you were there for some of the stuff when we were doing the stuff on the block.
Yep.
So I don't know whether anyone's going to reach out to you, but that's pretty much the TLDR of everything that happened up to the point of them being raided. So,
got it. Okay. Understood.
But,
I appreciate the heads up, Davenport.
I mean, take it easy. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Stay safe.
That's good. That's the last time I have to mention that now, so I can go about my day.
We're coming to lock your properties to find unlegal things. This is your warning to remove unlegal things.
Hi, Rose.
Hey.
Good night.
Good morning.
Good night.
Horvert's morning. All right, chat, just a reminder, we do have what's it called? Hydra 2v2 stuff later. That's going to be after restart, probably a couple hours after restart, because they're doing other stuff right after. And then it's going to be after that, I think. I think that's how it's working. There we are. Who do I send y'all to, chat? NoPixel has root. I'm gonna send y'all to. I'm sending you to. Studio plays Rue. Oh wait, they're ending. Fuck. I will send you to. Decisions. I'm gonna send you off to reroll. There we are. So chat, thank y'all so much for all love and support. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for the follows, hosts, raids, bits, donation subs, get subs, resubs. I say this each and every time. I genuinely kind of aspire a community to be built around this channel. So thank y'all for being absolutely amazing. Y'all know the deal. Follow me on Twitch. Join the Discord. Waste your Prime on me that's probably unused. You know, it be what it be. In exchange, you get adorable elephant emotes. Holy fucking once a year sellout on an outro. Crazy. Anyways, I am calling it, chat. I will be live later. 4, 5, 6 hours. Unsure. We'll figure it out. And hope to see y'all there. Hopefully we win. I don't even know what you win if you win the tournament. Anywho, I'm gonna send you all off. Peace.